So that's leads into the question about, okay, the market sell off now. I'm immensely comfortable because I see the network adoption. I've got even more models to understand how this space works. I see how broad and deep the talent, the adoption, the kind of conversations that Greg and I have with people all the time, it's like seeing the future. So therefore, the volatility now, I've been adding as fast as I can, scraping the sofa for coins or anything to put more money in.
Welcome to Everything Currency. This is a show where we talk about everything crypto and mo. I'm your host Jay, and today I got a pretty nice show for you guys. I'm not even gonna lie. We're gonna talk about this Bitcoin chart. We're gonna talk about the DXY chart, and then we're gonna talk about what Mr. Raoul Paul was saying in that clip in the beginning of this video from the Savvy Finance YouTube channel. So go ahead and give them a follow if you're not following them. They got some pretty nice macro information for those of you who wonder about the overall scheme of things. In my videos, I always mention the overall macro climate and the macro environment is in a weird place right now, and a lot of those people over there, they worked at banks, they're billionaires, millionaires, they know what they're talking about on some of this stuff. Go ahead and check them out. And yeah, I guess they just got a huge free endorsement from me, but they're pretty dope. But anyways, we're going to talk about what he talked about, and we're going to talk about these charts. So if you're excited about that, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed to the channel, and let's just go right now. This is the Bitcoin chart on the weekly right here. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys when I say that this chart is looking pretty ugly. I'm not going to lie to you guys and say that there's also some hopium on this chart right now, because there is some hopium on this chart, and I don't know if I really say that right, if I confused any of you guys, but basically what I'm saying is this chart looks bearish, but there's some hopium on it, and we're going to talk about all that right here. So a couple interesting things we got going on. First, let's take a look at, this is the weekly, let's take a look at the daily real quick. So when we look at the daily, we can see that we had ourselves a nice 13 and 34 cross right here a couple days ago that solidified. We were probably going to go to the downside. That's around the time that I made my video, and we were climbing up here, and I was like, this looks pretty good, but I don't know. Bear, overall bear pattern right there. We came down, and it looks like we might want to come back up and retest this pattern, which will also be a retest of the 13 moving average right here, and then have more downside, maybe create like some type of support around this area. Now there are some pretty interesting things right here. We have this low right here, and then we have this low right here, and then we have this low right here, and then we have this low right here. So we are having some interesting higher lows, which could signify that we might want to just kind of accumulate around this area and go sideways like I've been saying I wanted to see for a very long time. All coins are going down during this whole time. There's some coins that are waking up with some hype and stuff like that. There will be bear market rallies, but for the most part, yeah, that's what altcoins are doing. So this is the hopium on the chart right here. We have some closes that are giving us some higher lows, and then if we put this on the weekly chart, we can see that maybe, just maybe, this is some type of double bottom right here. Now this idea will also coincide with history. Now we got history on our side with this hopium right here, that in the past we kicked it around here around the 200 moving average in the bear market for about 15 weeks or so, 15-20 weeks. Over here we kicked in that area for a while, a little bit longer for that, but then once we decided to finally like wake up, we went crazy from those levels right there, and that kind of actually coincides with the idea of the dollar right now. So this is the dollar right here. Actually, this is not the dollar right here. This is the XPX, and this looks ugly. We'll talk about that in a sec, but this is the dollar right here. So looking at this dollar chart, I'm gonna make this one short because I don't really feel like talking about it that much, but my target is right here, this orange line at around 120 for the dollar right now. It's on a parabolic curve, and on these parabolic curves, they just kind of ride up and they just bounce on the 13 moving average, and then they just ride up until they break it, and then break below 34, then it's done. So I'm thinking that this could ride up. It is parabolic, so it could happen pretty quick. It can ride up for a little bit, and then that will coincide with Bitcoin going sideways with Bitcoin going sideways for a little bit and then maybe come back down. Now, if it starts getting more bullish than that, then we'll see what happens when that time comes. But that's the idea for now. Bearish, recessions, all that good stuff. Maybe it won't last long. They're trying to fight it as fast as they could and doing whatever they used in the past to try to fight it as fast as they could and doing what they do. So it's kind of showing up on the charts a little bit, which brings me back to that clip from Raoul Pal in the beginning.
The adoption, the kind of conversations that Greg and I have with people all the time, you know, it's like seeing the future. So therefore, the volatility now, I've been adding as fast as I can.
Like I said, if you don't know who Raoul Pal is, then he's a brilliant guy. But his macro views are pretty solid in my opinion. Of course, none of this is financial advice. I shouldn't have to tell you guys by this point that none of this stuff is financial advice. You got to take this information and run with it. You can't just take this information and go buy some random stuff. But basically what he's saying in that clip is, you look, this stuff is gonna keep growing. Technology stocks and cryptos right now, they are gonna keep growing. So right now, when these prices are dipping like this, where they're down 80, 90, 100%, you have small amounts of upside, small amounts of downside to like X's amounts of upside. And you know, in one of the other videos, he's talking about crypto specifically, and he says, you know, artificial intelligence isn't going anywhere, self-driving cars aren't going anywhere. That type of technology is only going to keep building. Brilliant people in this space are building that technology, and that's why I have a conviction over the long term, just looking at what we need in society or what we want as consumers, because that's what really matters. What we need and what we want, that's what we spend the most money on. The downside is pretty tough right now. Now, I wouldn't have been saying this at the top when everything was at the top, and I was saying, look, man, you know, it's looking kind of ugly when we first dipped, you know, below those moving averages and we first started breaking those trends and stock to flow models and stuff like that. Not the same story right now. A much higher opportunity. And I talked to you guys about my dollar cost averaging strategy before. As the prices go lower, I will dollar cost average more and more and more into that, and we can make another separate video where we go into that more detail. If you guys want to, just throw it in the comment box. Now, after all this rant, I'm sure you guys get what I'm trying to say. In the long term, there is major opportunity out of this market. We are just going through some economic and some macro things right now, which markets always go in cycles, which we always see. They have their monthly cycle, their daily cycle, their yearly cycle, their 10-yearly cycle, their weekly cycle right now. And right now, looking at this DXY chart, we are seeing that, hey, you know what? Our new market that is pennies compared to what the dollar is just at the whims of this, you know, 20-year market structure going on right now. So just something to think about. So hope you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to check out the website, everythingcurrencycrypto.com. Got courses, got the hodl shop. You can go ahead and reach me over there. Got NFTs. Get yourself a PayPal and a hardware wallet, because in the bear market as well, not even in the bear market, just in general, we don't know what these exchanges are doing, and it's not really safe to hold a lot amount of money on those exchanges. So go ahead and check that out. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed to the channel. Oh, and before I get out of here, I want to say shout out to the ETH Hustlers for, you know, a successful conference out there in Detroit. They had me as a presenter virtually through a video, so that was pretty dope. Go ahead and check those guys out, doing very nice things, coming out with free education for everybody in the cryptocurrency space. So RIP to crypto roots. Till next time,